Hello again. It's been a minute, I'm sure, a few months if I'm not mistaken. Last time I posted on even the Chevy, lots been happening. But we got some progress. Everything's working as it should. My little radiator cap deal here, that didn't ever work out good enough for it to stop burping out all the time. Fans, I got them working not too long ago. It idles. I gotta do something with the alternator. It's still overcharging a little bit. It holds antifreeze, which is what I just got done doing because it's gonna get down to like 32 degrees tonight. So it starts up.
Just tell us.
I still gotta mess with that idle a little bit. See, my throttle cable's a little weird. I got decat flex fuel injectors in there, and it is just plain flooding it out. Something horrible. Damn door. Oh, you bastard. Anyway, I got flex fuel injectors. And they are just flooding it out to no end. I'm not far from getting ready to get another intake. Or at least another set of injectors from the junkyard. Hopefully this weekend, tomorrow, maybe. I got some more adjustments here and there. But it gets out to temp. And fans kick on. I found a guy here in town that had the right motor mounts that I needed, so I got them. I got another fuse box. I got another wiring harness in the house. I got an exhaust and a couple extra sets of manifolds. I've been gathering little bits of stuff here and there. I got a couple of new projects. This is my little S10. Hear that door? It's gonna get a 5.3 that I got sitting in the house. And I got a 4L60 for it. Not that long ago, just a couple days ago. I got this 94 from my boss. It's actually a pretty decent old truck, other than the fact that it was somewhat blown up. It had blown head gaskets, and then I tightened the rocker arms down too tight, or something fell down in the motor. I don't know. Something happened and tore up two pistons. So I had to change them back out off of the 4.3 that came out of that. I started it. It does run. I'm not going to put no coolant or water or anything like that in it yet, just for the fact that I got to go to O'Reilly's and get some more coolant. And it's cold outside and I'm getting ready to go in. But it does run and start up. It needs to be tuned back up a little bit. Rocker arms adjusted or whatever. But And I got a shift cable for this. So now I can actually take it in and out of gear. It almost makes me feel like I want to drive it now. This has been like my little project. I got the truck from a guy that I traded an S10 to, an older body style S10, and a transmission swap that he's never come back around for, because the transmission in that S10 ended up turning out to be okay. So, but if in the future, I will still do it. It had a 4.3 in it with the NV3500. That 5.3 came from my kid up by Kansas City. The transmission came out of a 2004 3500 6-liter Chevy Express van. That's what it was. My problem with the transmission is that it got water in the torque converter, and I tried draining it out, but now the tranny fluid kind of looks a little frothy, pinky and frothy. I can't pronounce that word. My lips are all cold. But it does shift out. It does shift in and out of gear. This was just a kind of starter. The 6.0 is supposed to be the motor that went in that truck, and it had what was its problem? Rust pitting in the cylinder walls because it sat for so long without being covered. So that kind of sucked. It needs to be bored out and fixed up and cleaned up. In replace of that, I went to the junkyard and got a 5.3 out of, I don't know, a Tahoe or something like that with a bunch of extras. And it had a reason for being there because it was blown up too. I put it in a video before this. It had an oil pump go out of it, and I about locked it up in that truck. And then that motor I got from the kid in Kansas City, it needed cam bearings. I ended up putting bearings all through it. New oil pump, stock cam that came out of, what did I, no, it came, when I got it from him, it did come with cam. Yeah, and it runs good. I'm glad I put bearings in it. I'm glad I put a good oil pump in it because it gets good oil pressure. I disagree with a lot of people that say don't look at the cam bearings, don't take apart the crank bearings and rod bearings. Like, why not do that? It's good to do. It's a good idea, especially on a motor that you don't know its history. I had no idea what that kid had done with that motor. He supposedly got it from somebody out of a Tahoe, and he bought it from them, and he was gonna do some kind of cam or whatever to it, and the cam bearings needed to be replaced, which they weren't horrible looking, but they were pretty rough. So I paid a guy here in town to do it for me. $40, wasn't that bad. It took him a little while to get it done because of the summer. He was pretty busy, but he did get it done. All in all, I mean, over the last couple of months with me working a full-time job and a lot of work on the side, it hadn't taken me a whole lot of actual time or effort or work to do this. It is fairly easy. The hardest part for me was the motor mounts. Not having them kind of screwed me. I ended up having to cut the aluminum drive shaft down and had my boss welded up, but it works. I don't know how balanced it is yet because I haven't drove it very fast. Once around the block when I first got it running. But yeah, just stupid stuff like that. I had to adjust the transmission mount. A lot of this stuff I'm going to go back through during the day when it's bright outside and I got my flashlight and it's not so freaking freezing cold outside. I got a new wiring harness and a fuse box, and I'm going to get the rest of the wiring harness and body control module and everything out of a 2000 or 2001 extended cab Silverado 5.3 4L60E 2-wheel drive. It's not that I want to use that computer per se, because I want my computer, since it's already segment swapped for the 4L80E. It's the fact that I want to be able to start it with a key rather than start it with these two wires jumping the starting relay. Because of this truck was a standard, I don't have the whatever the deal with the neutral safety switch and all that wired in right, so it's caused me quite a headache. Just random stupid stuff. It don't have AC, which I ain't worried about that. It's just, it don't look the greatest, and that's what people say, oh, you need to fix that bed. I ended up pulling a Dodge Dakota extended cab to the junkyard in this truck when it was still a 4.3 and tore up the bed pretty bad. But I don't care. I'm not looking at this truck to be a showstopper or win any awards or anything like that. This truck was solely meant to be a toy slash toy, whatever you want to call it. It was meant to be something for me to tinker around with in my off time when I'm bored, and that's all it has been. I don't care about how it looks. It does have primer on it, and the only reason why I put primer on it was because I bought a can of slick sand, a gallon can of slick sand from our distributor at work, and that was almost a year ago, and I ended up finding it by happenstance in my stuff, and I needed to hurry up and use it because it looked like it was kind of turning a little weird, and I didn't want it to harden up and just be wasted. It's $100 a gallon can for that gallon can of primer, and I had about between a third and a half a gallon, so I ended up just coating the holy heck out of these, that door, that fender, knocked some dents out of the fender and the door. Did a little bit of work on the hood. I mean, it ain't in the greatest of shape, and it does need to be cleaned before I do anything else with it. And then that fender had a little bit of damage that I fixed on it and primered. This door is just tore to holy hell. It was in a wreck at one point in time, and I'm looking at getting another fender, or gonna try and see if I can't fix that up a little bit. The core support ain't bad, it's just that makes it look bad. So, but it does run, it does drive. The bed is bolted back on. I got a fuel pump off of eBay for $29 and some change, I think. Just a 340 liter per hour pump. Decat flex fuel injectors. They are just, I mean, flooding this thing out almost, it seems like. It is running real rich. I need to get a wideband for it. I have that little turbo that I was looking at putting on there, and I'm kind of reluctant to do that because of the fact that I don't have a wideband. This truck, the 94 Chevy pickup C1500 Silverado, whatever you want to call it, this is literally a work truck. I bought it with that in mind. It's never gonna be a nice truck. I never wanted it out to be a nice truck. I'm considering on putting a 5.3 with some kind of transmission in it, maybe sometime down the road, but that 4.3 will do exactly what I want it to do, and that is to go get wood for the winter time. Over the next month or so, I can start going and getting wood from the Amish people where I live. and the only thing it needs is finished up. If it runs, it runs. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I mean, as far as good, doesn't overheat, doesn't start mixing the water and oil together or pushing it out the exhaust. Those were the two big problems with this truck, is it kept mixing the oil and water together, or it would mix, or it would push it out the exhaust. So that truck is just going to be a a work truck for me to drive back and forth to the shop and to go get wood and stuff like that. Haul engines around with, because I don't like putting motors in the back of my little car. They do fit, but it's just, this little thing has had so much stuff shoved in the back of it. That's what she said. Because it's easy to do it. That hatch is perfect. It's got the perfect little area, but it just can't take the weight. That is the big problem with that thing. It just can't take the weight. This, the S10, it is going to be, yeah, look at that. I made that. I still got to finish it up. I've kind of been slacking on the whole deal, but I did get it started. I thought that was pretty cool. I want to keep the heater is the deal. I don't like to be cold. I don't care to be in the summertime and driving a truck or something like that, but I do not like to be cold. Everything I've got has to have a heater. But the S10, it's gonna get cab corners, and probably rockers. I don't know what the other side. I am the one that effed up those damn fenders. When I pulled the whole front clip off at one time and had a ratchet strap hung right here, and it dented that one right there, and it dented that one right there, and then it was sitting on that stump and rolled over and collapsed and dented it here and here, which is no big deal for me. Oh, and that one, which those are just really minor dents, I mean, as far as that's all concerned. But it's gonna get a 5.3 or the 6.0, depending on what I end up doing with that. And I don't know if it's gonna get something like a power glove